Welcome to SpectraCam. Today, we're hunting down one of the most misunderstood and revolutionary action films of the 90s, John Woo's Hard Target. Released in 1993, this film marked the Hollywood debut of Hong Kong's most celebrated action auteur, pairing him with the era's most iconic physical performer, Jean-Claude Van Damme. On the surface, it's a simple story. A homeless veteran named Chance Boudreaux protects a woman named Natasha Binder as she searches for her missing father, only to discover he's been murdered by wealthy hunters who pay to hunt homeless men for sport. But beneath its explosive surface lies a complex, subversive, and artistically daring work that fused Eastern and Western cinematic traditions to create something entirely new. It was a film dismissed by many contemporary critics as mere violence, but for those who look closer, Hard Target is a masterclass in action filmmaking, a political allegory, and a philosophical statement about value, humanity, and the American dream. Strap in, because we're going deep. To understand Hard Target, we must first understand the context of its creation. John Woo arrived in Hollywood not as a novice, but as a legend. In Hong Kong, he had redefined the action genre with films like The Killer and Hard Boiled, introducing Western audiences to a new vocabulary of violence: ballet gunfights, dual-wielding heroes, slow-motion doves, and a profound moral seriousness. Hollywood, in the early 90s, was dominated by a different kind of action, the muscular, one-liner heavy spectacles of Schwarzenegger and Stallone. The studios wanted Woo's style, but they didn't necessarily understand his soul. Hard Target became the battleground where these two sensibilities collided. The result is a film constantly at war with itself, a studio-mandated Van Damme vehicle forced through the prism of a poetic, almost spiritual auteur. This tension is not a flaw. It's the film's very essence, creating a unique friction that makes every frame crackle with unpredictable energy. Let's dissect the film's central premise, which is far more radical than it appears. The villains, led by the impeccably sinister Lance Henriksen as Emile Fouchon, are not terrorists or drug lords. They are ultra-wealthy capitalists, bored with conventional thrills, who have commodified human life itself. They hunt the homeless because, in their twisted worldview, these men have no societal value. They are hard targets, challenging prey with military experience who have fallen through the cracks. This isn't just a villainous plot, it's a savage critique of Reaganomics, and the greed is good 80s spilling into the 90s. The hunters represent a logical extreme of a system that measures worth solely in dollars, where human beings can be literally devalued to the point of becoming sport. The film's New Orleans setting is crucial, a city of stark contrasts, of vibrant culture and profound poverty, a perfect microcosm of America's own inequalities. The bayou isn't just a backdrop, it's a character, a liminal space where the rules of civilization break down and the true nature of the hunt is revealed. Into this moral quagmire steps our hero, Chance Boudreaux. Van Damme's performance is often overlooked, but it's key to the film's success. He is not a quipping Superman. He is quiet, weary, and dignified. A former Marine and Cajun merchant sailor living on a riverboat, disconnected from the world that discarded him. He is, in essence, what the hunter's prey might become if they survived. A man of skill and honor who society has labeled worthless. His motivation isn't revenge or justice in the abstract. It's a very personal, chivalric code. He helps Natasha because it's the right thing to do. In a genre filled with cynical heroes, Chance's innate goodness is his superpower. Van Damme's physicality sells this completely. His fighting style, a blend of his signature high kicks and gritty, improvised brawling, feels authentic to a veteran who's had to scrap to survive. He doesn't fight with the polished flair of a Woo protagonist from Hong Kong. He fights like a man trying to end the threat as efficiently as possible, which makes his moments of ballet violence, when they come, all the more transcendent. Now, we must talk about the action, the heart of any Woo film, and where Hard Target truly revolutionizes American cinema. Before this film, Hollywood action sequences were largely about geography and impact. You understood where everyone was, and you felt the hits. Woo introduced a new grammar, action as emotional expression, as dance, as opera. Take the now legendary final showdown in the burning warehouse. It's not just a fight, it's a mythological confrontation. Woo employs his signature techniques: slow motion to elongate moments of decision and consequence, rapid-fire editing that prioritizes kinetic energy over clear spatial logic, and a swirling camera that makes the audience a participant in the chaos. But he adapts them. The doves are replaced by swirling embers and sparks. The dual pistols are there, but they feel earned. A tool Chance picks up from his enemy. This sequence is a dialogue between Woo's style and the American action template, and the result is a hybrid more powerful than either parent. It taught a generation of filmmakers that action could be beautiful, tragic, and meaningful, not just loud. The film's visual and thematic language is steeped in symbolism. Consider the recurring motif of the serpent. Fushon's right-hand man, Pick Van Cleef, played by Arnold Vosloo, is often associated with snake imagery, his cold demeanor, his predatory stillness. Chance, by contrast, is associated with the eagle, a symbol of freedom and America, albeit a wounded one. Their final confrontation is a literal clash of these symbols. Furthermore, Woo uses Catholic iconography throughout. Chance is a reluctant savior figure, complete with a stigmata-like wound on his hand. The hunter's ritualistic preparation for the hunt mirrors perverted religious ceremony. The film is littered with crosses, from the cemetery where Natasha's father is buried to the architecture of the city. This infuses the violence with a weighty, almost theological significance. It's not violence for fun, it's a battle between a corrupted, materialistic world and a fading sense of grace and redemption. A crucial, often unsung element is the film's soundscape and score. Ray Merville's soundtrack is a masterpiece of fusion, blending Cajun fiddle, electronic pulses, and sweeping orchestral themes. It mirrors the film's own identity crisis in the best way. The Zydeco music roots the film in its Louisiana setting, giving Chance a cultural specificity rarely afforded to action heroes. The electronic beats underscore the cold, modern evil of the hunters, and the heroic brass themes elevate Chance's journey to the level of myth. The sound design, too, is revolutionary. Woo brought his Hong Kong sensibility to the mix, where every gunshot has a distinct, exaggerated report. Every shell casing hitting the ground is a punctuation mark. In the Hollywood of the time, guns often sounded like generic pops. In Hard Target, they sound like instruments of destiny, loud, brutal, and terrifyingly specific. This auditory hyperreality pulls the viewer deeper into Woo's heightened world. The supporting cast elevates the material immensely. Lance Henriksen's Fushon is one of the great action movie villains. He's not a raving lunatic. He's calm, cultured, and utterly amoral. He quotes poetry while arranging a murder. He represents a terrifying idea. Evil as intellect, as boredom, as a luxury of the ultra-wealthy. Arnold Vosloo is equally chilling as his silent, lethal partner. Wilford Brimley as Chance's Uncle Doovie provides not just comic relief, but a tangible link to a community and a past, grounding the film in a sense of real place and family. Yancey Butler as Natasha holds her own, her grief and determination providing the emotional core that sets the plot in motion. These characters aren't cardboard cutouts. They feel like they inhabit a world that existed before the camera rolled. However, Hard Target was not born easily. The film famously faced censorship battles with the MPAA, receiving an initial NC-17 rating for violence. The cuts demanded to secure an R rating arguably neutered some of Woo's most audacious ideas, fragmenting the action in places. Furthermore, the studio, Universal, was reportedly baffled by Woo's methods. His desire for multiple takes, his focus on emotion over exposition, his symbolic framing. The film was re-edited without his final sign-off. This behind-the-scenes struggle is visible in the final product in its jarring tonal shifts and occasionally choppy narrative flow. Yet, paradoxically, this struggle also contributes to the film's raw, unvarnished power. It feels like a film that fought to exist, and that fight is embedded in its DNA. It's not a sleek corporate product. It's a scarred, passionate, and messy work of art. So, what is the legacy of Hard Target? Culturally, it was a financial success, proving that Woo's style could connect with American audiences. But its true legacy is in how it changed the action genre. It served as a direct bridge between the heroic bloodshed of Hong Kong and the emerging style of directors like the Wachowskis, Robert Rodriguez, and Chad Stahelski. You can see its DNA in the Matrix gunfu, in John Wick's, balletic gunplay, and world-building in every film that treats action as a kinetic art form rather than mere spectacle. It demonstrated that an action hero could be vulnerable and quiet, that a villain could be intellectually sinister rather than physically monstrous, and that a film could be both a crowd-pleasing thrill ride and a serious commentary on class and morality. It expanded the palette of what was possible. In conclusion, Hard Target is far more than a Van Damme kickfest. It is a foundational text of modern action cinema. It is the explosive moment when the restrained, muscular American action hero met the poetic, melodramatic, and hyper-stylized sensibility of Hong Kong, and a new hybrid was born. It's a film about the value of human life in a system designed to devalue it, about honor in a dishonorable world, and about the redemptive power of simple, righteous action. It's flawed, fierce, and unforgettable. It asks us not just to watch the violence, but to feel its cost and understand its meaning. In the end, Chance Boudreaux isn't just fighting hunters. He's fighting against the very idea that a person can be a target. He's reaffirming their humanity, and in doing so, reaffirms the soul of the action movie itself. If this deep dive into the bayou of Hard Target resonated with you, if you appreciate these explorations of cinema's hidden layers and revolutionary moments, then do us a huge favor, subscribe to SpectraCam, hit that button and ring the notification bell. Your support allows us to keep hunting for these cinematic treasures and bringing you the analysis you crave. We have essays on everything from forgotten cult classics to blockbuster deconstructions waiting for you. So join our community of thoughtful film lovers. Subscribe today. We often hunt for meaning in the stories we tell, seeking targets or admiration or critique. But perhaps the greatest hunt is the one for understanding. For that moment when style and substance, East and West, violence and poetry collide to reveal a deeper truth about who we are and the worlds we build, both on screen and off. Until next time, keep your eyes on the spectacle. This is SpectraCam, signing off.